Hi Sagittarius, I hope that you're all doing well. We are here with a timeless reading. The first card that we have out is the World. The second card is Six of Pentacles. The third card is Knight of Pentacles. And Queen of Wands. Okay. Let's say that you are the Queen of Wands in this scenario. What I'm seeing is that there is a new chapter that is opening. This also feels too, when we start with the World, it's kind of like loose ends have been tied, which can allow something to officially begin. It can mean too that if things needed to be accomplished, if things needed to be sorted out, if things needed to be figured out, if things needed to be completed, they have been. And so it really does allow for a new cycle to be beginning. That being said, when we have Six of Pentacles and we have Knight of Pentacles, especially looking like it's moving towards Queen of Wands, this feels like something that is potentially up to your standards is coming through and being proposed to you. So this is something that you can look at and feel like this is a very fair deal that is making its way to you. I mean, this can be somebody really trying to show up for you here. I feel like some type of lesson has been learned. So this is the visual, okay? Some lesson has been learned here. Some lesson has been learned here. This is sort of like the energy here with this, and I would say this is generally something seen as being balanced, fair, like reputable, okay? So with that in mind, that's sort of what's making its way to you, and you are the Queen of Wands, we're saying in this instance. And so this is being delivered to you, okay? But I'm seeing this energy of Five of Cups coming out, and so I'm wondering if even though something is coming through and being proposed to you, you can be feeling like you're dealing with some type of upset. I don't think that it has to do with what's going on now. I feel like this is what was going on before. Like you could have been feeling quite let down. And you can still be feeling like that. So even though potentially this thing is coming through and it is up to your standards, you can feel like, well, I'm still dealing with what had happened. And I'm still feeling upset about that. So it can feel like something that you're not over yet. Not that you need to be too. I don't mean to say it in a way where it's like get over it or anything like that. I just mean it in a way where like you're going through something and so you don't feel like totally regulated right now from what I'm seeing. Get the feeling of something not totally being enough here. You can feel like it didn't, like this didn't meet your standards, and you can feel like it didn't honor what you saw as being, align with what you saw as being the potential here. This could have been something that really called you to take action, maybe in a bit of an abrupt sort of way here. I feel like something happened and it just feels like it like made things crumble a bit. In the heat of the moment, there can also be a lot of quick thoughts that are happening too, and maybe for some of you, some quick decisions. So we have the Empress and we have the Emperor here, and we also have Mars. I'm seeing Saturn, I'm seeing Venus, I'm seeing Mars, and I'm also seeing Aries here. Yeah, I feel like something that happened really like tore things apart in a way. It feels like just something sort of unexpected and surprising unfolds. Like something got torn down or ripped down. When you go through something that feels like the Five of Cups, that feels like it didn't align with what you envisioned and what you know would feel right to you, dealing with the impact of that, dealing with the making up the difference between like what you expected, what happened, how you feel about that, moving through that process of sort of coming to terms as well. You can just feel like right now it's maybe difficult to feel anything other than disappointment. And you can feel too like something that's meant to be a relationship where there is equality involved has now imploded a bit. Like something fell apart. And I think that this is a lesson in standards, a lesson in values, a lesson in worth, and steps that are being taken to... It feels like the things that are like offered to you so you can build what you want within your life, and like what you accept versus what you don't accept, and like what is the right type of building material within your life versus what's not. Like what's just not quality material for you as far as what you have going on within your life and what you want to be making buildings out of. I feel too like there can be some type of rip or tear within a relationship, within a dynamic. And it's based off of expectations not being met. It's based off of the standard, like just things not hitting the mark. I am seeing the Death card. This can be something that closes out now, and you can feel like maybe this is just the right thing to do at this point. The strange thing about it is that we have Knight of Pentacles here, and so I feel like with Knight of Pentacles, something was made to be a step taken that felt like it contributed So you would think you'd see it like a brick being laid in place, so something is being built, but then having the tower feels like that brick was laid and like exploded and knocked a bunch of bricks around, and it actually did more damage than good. So a move was made, and that's what it did. And then having the Death card land on top of this, I feel kind of like looking at that, looking at the pieces sort of everywhere, and then like maybe jumping ship entirely, maybe abandoning that and being like, well, I'm going to build over there then. Like maybe this is something that you don't want to be a part of in that way any longer. And maybe you feel too like going through something on an emotional level, like it's changed you psychologically a bit, like changed things energetically a bit for you. Because I'm seeing you go through a time right now that feels like some deep life transformations that are taking place, especially as it relates to you and how you're moving through the world. And I think also too what you're accepting within your life. And saying, this is a lesson in I'm not trying to set myself up to be feeling like this anymore. And Death card coming through and being like, so I'm going to stop whatever process would be connected to me having to go through this again. So putting a stop to whatever this is, so you don't have to feel like you're left in that position anymore of that Five of Cups. And so you can actually move on from things too, rather than feeling like you're going around and around. You can feel like you must do this as well for your pursuit of happiness, that it's necessary. So you can say that's what death brings to you here in this case. I do feel like this changes the plan a little bit, but also at the same time what I'm seeing is that it feels like getting to a point where you look at things and you say, I don't want to have to go through this again. You look at things, you say, I don't want to have to go through this again. If I keep participating in this way and something doesn't change, this is just going to be a cycle. It feels like knowing that something will repeat itself again and again, and then getting to that point where you're like, if I want to liberate myself from this, I need to end something. There's something big that needs to change here. So I don't have to be in this cycle anymore because I'm done. And that is really what allows you to move on. It's really what allows you to move forward. And you can feel like this is what gives you the best shot, the best chance for you to be involved in something that really feels like it's reflective of your deepest core values. And so that is something that will allow you to feel a deep sense of fulfillment, permanence, connection, stability. Because with Six of Pentacles and with Five of Cups, it feels like here I am involved in something. Here I am again in a situation that I feel like, for example, with Six of Pentacles, Five of Cups, you can feel like I showed up and I contributed and now I don't get what I need back. I'm meeting this person's needs, but my needs are not being met. Or I'm showing up in this way and then they're not showing up. I'm on time, they're not on time. It's going to be stuff that has to do with the actual interaction that's happening and feeling like it's not sustainable what's going on. It's not balanced. And you can say too that when you're involved in this, you get the short end of the stick. And this Five of Cups feels like maybe this has happened enough times that it's become very disruptive at this point. I do get the sense of something being broken out of. Something about this, though, that I find to be interesting is that connected with the Knight of Pentacles, the Tower is there, and so this can actually be something that's being presented to you that's very unexpected. What I feel like was going on in the beginning, to have the World, to have Five of Cups, to have the Death, it feels like I've decided that I'm not going to be in these cycles anymore, where I feel like repeatedly over and over again, I'm left wanting, I'm left disappointed, I'm left with that feeling of it was agreed upon that it was going to be like this and it was like that instead, and just constantly left disappointed because of that. Death card feels like becoming liberated from that, so you're not in those cycles anymore and saying, I know my worth, I want to be involved in things that are reflective of my values, and that is where I can cultivate what will allow me to cultivate joy within my life. Because when you participate in things where it's like, okay, like shake hands, we made the agreement, you're going to do this part, I'll do that part, now we're working together, now this is happening, and like things are running smoothly, it allows for that sense of connection where you're not just like chasing something that you feel like is not just freely being given to you, and vice versa. So there's a shift over to that, which I feel like is a deep like knowing and understanding of your Venus energy, but only through having to go through those trials. And feeling like you are taking control of things, like you are responsible for your life, and you appreciate the moves that you're making and feel like it is creating the type of experience that you want to be having. I do just want to clarify this Tower. Because in a way, when I see Knight of Pentacles and I see the Tower and I see Two of Cups, it almost feels to me like something comes through and spontaneously the Two of Cups come together. Like this almost feels like a spontaneous connection, or like an unexpected culmination of energy. Like two magnets that find one another. But having that Tower there, it can be sort of from the ashes that this happens. I think by allowing what needs to disintegrate to do just that, there is a natural balance that is found, that is rediscovered. So sustainability can be a thing. So rather than being in situations where you feel like there's a lack of symbiosis, this is about things sort of falling away that do not make the cut. And not because something is like bad or wrong or this or that. This is more so like knowing when things are compatible and when things are not compatible, and not trying to force something that's not compatible. Because when we do that, it feels like constantly leading to the Five of Cups, which is like this again, this again, this again, but like over and over. And being at a point of like wanting to be involved in things that feel like they're just naturally sustainable, because it's also naturally compatible, because it's symbiotic. So we get something that feels mutually beneficial to all parties involved, rather than like one energy benefiting, another one not, and all of that. I do get the sense that there is an allowing for things to fall apart that do not feel like they fit, because it's just the way at this point. And recognizing that you want something that feels structured, you want to be accepting of pieces that you can build with, so something can be being accomplished, so something can be built, so a structure can develop. So there's something solid there to connect with that really lays the ground for that. I do feel like this can be a time that feels kind of up in the air, and it can be a time when it can feel like things are sort of like crumbling, separating, decaying, decomposing, combusting. At the same time, you can feel like this is what will allow you to reroute in the direction that you want to be going. So you can feel happy with what's being offered to you. So there can be a sense of fulfillment and compatibility with what's showing up, and a true symbiosis. The difference between building a structure of disappointment within life versus building a structure of joy, happiness, satisfaction. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.